It's Wednesday, the 25th of December. So today's job is going to be to try and tidy up this side of the plot a little bit. Where we've been stashing stuff for now, we kind of need to sort through some of these things. Some of it's trash and bricks. We're thinking of maybe putting a brick path up the middle of the raspberry cage here. I'm going to remove these gooseberries because they need weeding out and cleaning up really, and it's easier to just take them out and start from scratch with them. We're hoping to keep the plants because they made some nice berries this summer, so we'll see. There's also a rhubarb hiding down here in the weeds. We only discovered that sort of, well, not recently, but it was like oh, there's a rhubarb down there kind of surprise. So yeah, we better crack on with getting some sorting done and emptying out our last potatoes as well. And we're going to make a little fire, so have some warmth and toast a marshmallow. That's the plan. So I've got that area there at the front a bit cleared out now. All these potato planter pots are gone, which is good. Cat has spread a bit more of the wood chip down there. This is what came out of the last of the potato planters. Now these were planted quite late in the year. We didn't have a fantastic summer and autumn, so we've got quite a lot of little potatoes there. Each of those piles represents one planter. I can't remember what the varieties there are. I think it's maybe a Red Duke of York and maybe a Yukon Gold. The planters are these things here, which are now empty, ready for next year. They're sort of about 30 litres, but they're a bit tall and skinny, so they're not ideal. These thicker ones are a bit better. But that's what we've planted those rhubarb crowns in, and that's the gooseberries. And you can see a little bit of smoke because we've had a little bit of a burning, and we toasted Mr. Marshmallow. Yum. So those rhubarbs and gooseberries came from over here. So that area is clear now. Got that dug out, and Cat's got a bit more cardboard and wood chip down there too. So that's looking pretty decent now. Still got this pile of stuff in the middle. We're working on that to get those bricks sorted and work out what to do with that rubber matting and stuff another day. Right. Time to head home. It's Sunday, 29th of December, and we're at the plot. We almost didn't make it today. Feeling a little bit iffy last night from a bit too much wine. And then got up today and the promised sunlight wasn't here. And then come around 2 p.m. it showed up when we went outside. So it's already around 2:30 by now. So we won't have a lot more sunlight left. As you can see, the compost has gone down in temperature quite a bit. We're down to 20 degrees there. I think what we need to do on this plot now, this is the new plot, is start our winter infrastructure projects and get them underway. One of them is this fence, and we've got to put that in properly. We like to do good fences all the way around with strainer wires and buried at least sort of 20-25 centimetres into the ground. It does keep the rabbits out. I don't know why more people don't do this with their plots. Most of them just have the wire kind of flapping along on the bottom. We'll do it properly, and so we'll trench this in all down here. So we popped down here for a bit on the 25th and started tidying this area up here and getting some of the rubbish out. Dug up even more bricks, and I got out those fruit plants at the back there. They're in those tubs over there now. A couple of tubs with rhubarb in it and one tub with the gooseberries in it. And hopefully they'll survive, and we'll get them in somewhere eventually, probably roughly in the same general spot. But we want to get it all de-weeded, covered and cleaned up before we put anything back in the ground. Get this whole area all sorted out. So right, back to the fence. So obviously we'll have a nice long fence all the way up here, and we'll fence all the way around the plot, of course, make it nice and secure. We've got some chicken wire. It's 13mm hole stuff, which is sufficient for keeping the rabbits out. You'll never keep the mice and rodents out. And this shed needs dealing with too. We inherited this from right next door. It was there, now it's there. And it needs a proper base, really. It needs to be a bit more stable. So we'll probably need to do that before we do the fence, because I think I need to shift it out of the way to actually get it sort of sorted underneath. We'll see how we go with that. And we also need to get this area sorted out here with these bins for the leaf mold. They're going to be our leaf mold bins. There's obviously a whole pile of random junk over here, some timber and some benches. They'll either go into the greenhouse or get used elsewhere, and the IBCs will get stacked and live up the back here somewhere. But that's all future infrastructure. For now, we'd better crack on and see what we can do in the little bit of time we have left today. As with any space, the first thing that's happened here is we started filling it up with random junk. So before I can really shift the shed, all that's going to have to come out. Okay, so now we have one empty shed. It's a bit of a weird one. Has a bit of a leak in the roof, as you can see. And it's octagonal. It's got a random stainless steel handrail. Whoever had this shed and the plot next to us, and I think also this plot at some time in the past, was clearly a bit of a welder, because there's lots of sort of custom stuff in it like this. Apparently this was the commode. They must have had some sort of a composting toilet in this shed. It's got a window looking out onto the wildlife ditch. Hurrah! And it was going to get trashed, but I felt like that was a bit of a ignoble end for it, and it has potential. It's pretty well put together, so we claimed it, as the sign says. And the community help team moved it over onto this plot for us, but it's just on the worst bit of ground. It's all slopey and muddy underneath here, so we really need to shift it out of the way and fix the ground up. And one of the first things I'm going to do is actually put some bracing in here to make it a little bit more robust against getting moved, because what we'll actually probably do is tip it on its side into the plot next door. It even has a fancy sliding door. It's pretty cool. Well, some duffer forgot to bring their impact driver down today. It's sat in the office at home. So I've done what I can for the moment. That's just friction fit across the top there. We won there, and then I've cut a couple with 45 degrees, which will wedge in either end, and we'll probably put some noggins across between them, which will stiffen up that whole top level, which will hold it together when we roll it over on its side, hopefully. That's the plan anyway, and it may actually well just stay there and become a future ceiling, though it's just above my head at the moment, so it's maybe a little bit too low. We'll see. I've got another job I can get on with in the meantime before we lose the last of the light today. My other job is to cut this fifth railway sleeper we have to fit into these two gaps here. The fifth railway sleeper is sat over here on the side of the plot. It's a bit of a manky one. It's got a big crack up the middle, so we'll be using that far end of it, and hopefully it will stay together. If not, we'll just bang some big screws through it or something. It's just a base for the greenhouse, nothing fancy. We supposedly these were supposed to be non-creosoted sleepers, but I'm not entirely sure. They smell a little bit creosotey to me. They're not majorly. We don't know. But we'll probably line the inside of this. And the whole idea with this is that it's giving us a little extra bit of height on the greenhouse, which will allow us to have a higher floor in there, which will be better for drainage, because everything around here is so damp. So the approach I'm using to cut this sleeper is basically just to run the saw all the way around it, roughly square. Last side to cut. Okay, that's that job done. Those sleepers are bloody heavy, I'll tell you that. Meanwhile, over here, Kat has tidied this up a bit and raked it out a bit. Those bricks that were a stack are now a more organised stack over here, along with some of the other crap from the allotment. We're gradually getting there, sorting out the garbage. This will be quite a nice space by the spring, I reckon. Okay, let's have a look at our little polytunnel harvest and then head home. And look, we have a harvest. Last harvest of 2024. Nice little clutch of winter radishes from our little radish patch down here. Yeah, that's good. Right. It's getting dark. It's home time.